Assembly Committee on Government Affairs will come to order. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson.
Present.
Assemblywoman Black.
Here.
Assemblywoman Brown May.
Here.
Assemblywoman Considine.
Present.
Assemblywoman Dickman.
Here.
Assemblywoman Duran.
Here.
Assemblyman Ellison.
Here.
Assemblywoman Martinez.
Present.
Assemblyman Matthews.
Here.
Assemblyman MacArthur.
Here.
Assemblywoman Thomas.
Here.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Here.
Chair Flores.
Present. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please let the record reflect all members are present. We have a quorum. Good morning, members. This is going to be another hectic week for us, but not in our committee. As you know, we're going to be having very long floors for the rest of the week up until next week early on. So we're going to minimize the amount of time we meet to allow for time and that the floor do whatever they have to do. I'm confident we'll have some very long nights, and you'll need those extra couple hours of sleep where possible. So we'll work on the agenda on trying to minimize the amount of times we meet, specifically as it pertains to Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. With that, we have 2 items on the agenda for today. We'll start off with the presentation and then make our way into the bill hearing on Senate Bill 16. If I could just remind everybody that we'll be doing public comment at the very end of today's meeting. And members, please keep your microphone on mute and the camera on. Should you need to turn it off, just give us a heads up so that we know internally what's happening. With that, at this time, I'd like to open up the presentation by the Nevada Commission on Minority Affairs. Good morning and welcome, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Okay, thank you. For the record, my name is Emily Koo. I'm the management analyst for the Commission on Minority Affairs. Chair Flores, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me to present today. I just want to take a few minutes to give a very brief overview of the commission and our purpose. So to start with a little bit of background and history, the commission was formed in 2003 with 9 volunteer commissioners. The commission did not have a full-time staff person until the 2017 session when Senator Ford sponsored SB 373. And so I was hired in 2018, and we quickly realized we needed more resources to support my position and to aid in our outreach activities. So in 2019, Senator Harris sponsored and passed SB 2011 to allocate more funding to the commission. And so fast forward to today, these are our current commissioners. Dr. Cheney serves as our chair, and Commissioner Williams is our vice chair. And the rest of the commissioners are Commissioner Azam, DeLuca, Kraus, Melendres, Shaw, Taylor, and Villarta. So each commissioner chairs at least one subcommittee, and you can see some of them chair too. And the commissioners are very involved in our communities. They serve on a host of other volunteer activities and organizations. I consider them kind of like our ambassadors. They really help to get the word out on information and resources that are pertinent to our minority community. And then they also will bring information and issues from their community back to the commission. And as outlined in our statutes, the commission represents a variety of minority groups that reflect the general population of the state. So we have commissioners that represent the Asian, Black, Hispanic, Native American, and Pacific Islander populations. So it's a very unique forum to have so many groups represented, and also it increases the understanding between the minority groups, which I think is also very important. And then geographically speaking, we have 7 that are based in Clark County. We have 1 in Reno and 1 in Carson City. So these are our areas of focus. This is just a quick slide about our mission statement and our, these are the areas that correlate with our subcommittees: education, housing, employment, civil rights, health, political empowerment, economic development. So as you can see, we cover quite a bit, but a lot of these areas are very interrelated. So you can't talk about workforce development without talking about education, for example. And so these are our commission goals. So we are a central advisory body to the governor, and we aim to give a voice to minority issues. We submit an annual report to the governor that highlights our activities and recommendations. And to become a hub for statewide minority data, so we launched a new website last year. It's minorityAffairs.nd.gov. And so on that website, we've compiled a list of resources and databases where you can go that has the data disaggregated by race and ethnicity. And I specifically try to pull out as much Nevada-specific sites that I could. So to have that all in one place to make it easier for those looking for minority data. I know we've had a couple of community groups ask for data to help with their grants or press releases that they have. And so we've also increased our social media presence in the last year, trying to get information out as we move to mostly digital. And 3, encourage discussions and facilitate connections between minority advocates. So we've always encouraged discussion on disparities and we've done several presentations that's called The Status of Minorities in Nevada, and that highlights the disparities within our focus areas, and that presentation is found on our website. And the pandemic and events have really increased the discourse on disparities and structural inequalities, and I think it's made it an easier conversation to have now. And so this past year, the commissioners have been busy giving numerous interviews and spoken on various panels related to disparities. And then 4, support legislation. So the commission's very excited to see so many bills this session affecting minorities and addressing diversity and inclusion. And so we are following this session very closely. And so this basically concludes my presentation. Thank you again for letting the commission present today.
Thank you. My apologies. I was having a conversation internally in my office. Thank you, members. At this time, and by the way, Ms. Koo, I just wanted to say that we're very appreciative. I know a lot of us have had an opportunity to work with many of those who sit on your board, and we appreciate the work, doing so much with so little. And so I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of those of us who have had an opportunity to work with such a committed folk.
Thank you.
Members, also, if I could just very quickly, as I was having an internal conversation here with the team, if I could pause the presentation briefly. As you all know, a lot of amendments are coming out. I'm going to be sending those out, especially the ones that you worked on. Just if you could do a quick check, even if it's in the middle of a hearing, because we need to report those ASAP down to the floor. So you may have somebody stopping by your office, just double checking on some of those amendments. Please, if you could be as responsive as possible to that. Madam Vice Chair or members, any questions, please? I'm checking the chat now. I don't see any questions. Members, at this time, feel free to unmute yourself and announce should you have a question. However, I am not seeing anything coming through either one of the chats. Seeing none at this time, I wanted to say thank you for that overview, and I'm sure members will reach out as we move further down the road should they have any questions. I think it's important that we just set that connection for those of you who haven't had an opportunity to know Ms. and meet with Ms. Koo. So thank you again on that. And members, we'll go right into our bill presentation for Senate Bill 16.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Laura Freed, and I serve as the Director of the Department of Administration. I'd like to start by thanking Ms. Koo for the presentation she just gave the committee because it sets the table for Senate Bill 16. As she just explained, the authorization for the Commission on Minority Affairs resides within the Department of Business and Industry statutes in NRS 232-505 through 866. The Department of Administration's authorizing statutes explaining our duties and responsibilities are in another section of that chapter. NRS 232-864, however, specifies that the Department of Administration shall provide staff support to the Commission, and the operating expenses for the Commission are budgeted in the Business and Industry Director's Office, not the Department of Administration Director's Office. The department doesn't provide any support to the Commission on Minority Affairs. So this bill is a simple line-out housekeeping bill that changes 232-864 to make reference to the Department of Business and Industry rather than the Department of Administration providing staff support. And that is pretty much it. I'd be happy to give some background if the chair is interested in it or answer any other questions.
Thank you. At this time, we'll dive straight into questions. Thank you for that brief presentation. Members, any questions? I am checking the chats now. However, members, should you have any questions at this time, feel free to unmute yourself and announce. I don't believe we have any questions for you now, Ms. Freed. I know that the bill was fairly straightforward, so please don't take it as disinterest from our members. I think they just had an opportunity to review it, and they're pretty squared away on it. So at this time, what I'd like to do is invite those wishing to testify in support of the Senate Bill 16. Do we know of anybody who's joining us via Zoom that was hoping to speak in support?
Mr. Chairman, this is Laura Freed. The Director of Business and Industry is here in case there are questions. He testified in support over on the Senate side.
Should it be your desire that he do it again? No problem. We could have his testimony in support now, and/or we can just wait for questions, whatever you prefer.
Chair Flores, this is Terry Reynolds, Director for the Department of Business and Industry. We do support this change. It is really an administrative cleanup on this. We want to thank the legislative body for their appointment and the governor's office for the appointment of the members to the Minority Affairs Commission. We have an outstanding commission with very strong leadership, and we're very pleased to have them as part of the Department of Business and Industry. Also, I want to give kudos to Emily Koo, who has been outstanding as a management analyst to the commission and has really helped broaden the scope of their duties and bringing issues to the commission. So with that, we heartily support this action, and thank you for your time to address it.
And thank you for joining us this morning. I don't believe we have anybody else via video, but Ms. Freed, do we have anybody else who also wanted to testify in support who's joining us via Zoom?
This is Laura Freed for the record. No, Mr. Chairman, I don't believe so.
If I noticed that we do have a question by Assemblywoman Anderson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this can be either for Ms. Freed or for Director Reynolds, whichever feels best for this. Do you believe that by moving this to the new department, again, it's a cleanup language, I think that's pretty clear, but do you believe that this would allow for deeper discussions for like EDON or from some of our other industries that are trying to bring businesses into our state to also consider the minority affairs point of view, or are those conversations already taking place? And this is just another way to be able to bring in more people into the discussion.
Chair Flores, this is Terry Reynolds, Director for the Department of Business and Industry. That is very true. It does allow us to enter into deeper discussions in terms of economic development. But as you know, we also house consumer affairs and the ombudsman for minority affairs. So it really helps us when we have groups that come in and are looking at the area and discussion of the topics that we cover, whether it's insurance or labor issues. We do have the ability to, because the Minority Affairs Commission does collect data, they have really, I would say, experts in different areas in the fields. And so we do have that component within the department to be available to have dialogue with businesses that ask those questions as they come into the state. So it is very helpful. And I appreciate that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblywoman Anderson, did you have a follow-up?
Just wondering also if there will be more outreach or possibly working with other departments and trying to help some of our smaller businesses that might be owned by minorities as well, or if that is in a different department even then. So I feel like I don't know if it's the appropriate place for that question or not.
Chair Flores, Terry Reynolds, Director for the Department of Industry. I'm going to send this one over to Emily because they do work with the commission and do provide data and work and do hold sessions with different agencies, departments, and community groups. But Emily, do you want to give a little background on that?
Sure, Emily Koo for the record. We do a lot of outreach towards the small businesses. We are very active with the minority chambers in the South. And, we've also, because we're in business and industry, we helped answer a lot of questions on PETS grants and helping minority small business owners that way, even fielded several questions in Mandarin when needed.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Members, any additional questions? Seeing none, we'll continue with those wishing to testify in support of Senate Bill 16. And at this time, we'll go to the phone lines. Broadcast, please.
To testify in support of Senate Bill 16, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, the line is open and working, but there are no callers at this time.
Thank you. At this time, we'll invite those wishing to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 16.
To testify in opposition to Senate Bill 16, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. And lastly, we'll go to those wishing to testify in the neutral position for Senate Bill 16.
To testify in the neutral position on Senate Bill 16, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in the neutral position at this time.
Thank you. Anybody who would like to make any closing remarks, please.
Mr. Chairman, this is Laura Freed for the record. Only to say thank you for the opportunity to present this bill, and thank you to business and industry for their support in basically cleaning up the statute.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. And I'm glad we were able to get through that relatively quickly. Hopefully we can move some stuff out of here soon. So with that, we'll go ahead and close out the hearing on Senate Bill 16. Next, I'd like to invite those who wish to join us for public comment. Broadcast, please.
To take your place in the public comment queue, please press star 9 now. Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Well, this morning went a lot faster and a little bit more smooth than I anticipated. So, members, we'll be meeting tomorrow. We have two bills up, Senate Bill 37 and Senate Bill 46. Both deal with the Attorney General's office. The first specifically into the relationship between the District Attorney's office and the Attorney General's office. But you'll hear all about that tomorrow. We do have a meeting scheduled also for Thursday. If you check our agenda, I believe we haven't set anything up for Friday. And just know that's by design. We anticipate long floors. So if we can get there earlier, we will do so and not hold any meetings for those days, at least Friday, Monday, Tuesday. But we'll give the committee an update as we get closer to those days. Please make sure you consistently keep checking back. And with that, members, thank you. This meeting's adjourned.